Go from being blocked to being engaged. And yes, that is a literal success story. I'm going to put it up on the screen. That has happened to someone before. So if it's happened to them in a coaching session with me, it can happen to you right here and right now in this video. And so it doesn't matter your circumstance. It doesn't matter if you're no contact. Even look at that individual that wrote, I had a massive success story, went from being blocked to being engaged. They were in no contact at some point, right? And so if they have done it, then you can do it too. Because we usually have kind of like a limiting belief whenever it comes to no contact, that if we're in no contact, how is our specific person going to know how much we've changed or what we've done, right? That's actually a mental, like a logical, like a physical belief that totally your subconscious mind and the law of assumption go completely above and beyond that. But I'll talk about more about like why we actually do that. I have my like notes right here, and I got the success stories up because I can't necessarily see them on the screen like you are right now. But the trick is to remember that movement is always happening. Okay, no matter what's going on, no matter what, look at even the success story. Behind the scenes, there was a bunch of stuff occurring, right? They were blocked. And so according to logic, then they should have not gotten any results at all, right? Because their specific person isn't able to see their growth and see their movement. And I'll actually include another success story on here that I'll put right there, which includes a slightly, I don't want to say a slightly less success story because every success story is awesome, but just wrote, worked on self-concept, and X texted me happy B-day after 6 months of no contact. So that's like, all they did was work on self-concept, right? So we need to think above and beyond and know that our subconscious mind is way more powerful than you could ever imagine. And once we know that, we're going to get rid of this idea that we need to physically act or see our specific person in order for them to like this. And this actually just comes from a trust in our reality. The more we trust it, the more we understand there is so much happening behind the scenes. Again, look at these two success stories. So many things are happening behind the scenes that you don't even know. And I always like to look at your reality as it is right now. Almost everything is happening behind the scenes. Did you watch this video get created? No, it happened entirely behind the scenes, but it just comes to you instantaneously, automatically, without you having to lift a finger, right? It was automatic, easy, effortless. That's what your specific person can be like. And the reason we actually go into, so whenever we're in no contact, what usually happens, we start to have negative thoughts, negative fears, negative worries, right? The worst possible outcome comes to mind. And I'm actually going to include a quote today that kind of supports or explains as to why we actually do this. So here's the quote, and it might sound confusing at first, but don't worry, I'll explain it. So the quote is, if I die by my own hand, at least I am in control. One more time, because I know you're like, what, Kyle, what does that have to do? If I die by my own hand, at least I am in control. So, I'll explain it, don't worry. I know you're still thinking, what's up with this? So the reason that this makes sense to what we're doing is because when we're in no contact, our mind just automatically produces all this negative stuff, right? But it's because there's an aspect in our mind and in our reality with logic that makes us rather have a negative outcome than an unknown outcome. And so for this example, to place it into how you have definitely probably felt before, let's say you have a date with your specific person on Friday and you text them and you say, hey, are we still meeting on Friday? And a day passes and they don't respond. And then another day passes and they don't respond. What does your mind start doing? You start to get into this crazy worry, fear, anxiety, right? Because we would rather know and have them cancel on us than be in the unknown. And I would say, because that's what my mind automatically goes to. Everyone in my coaching sessions, mind goes to that. Unless you're like a super positive, awesome person, which I know you are, so maybe you don't do this at all. But most people do that, right? They go into this negative thought because we think the unknown is almost like left with the opportunity of everything. And usually we run away from fearful things more than we move towards positive things. So our mind is going to create the negative. But the trick is, if we can just, so basically, and this is going to sound crazy, the key then from being blocked to being engaged is the essence and power and persistence to be in a feeling or state of the unknown, but continue to persist in it regardless. Because really, whenever we get into a situation like this, I would always, if you're ever thinking like, oh my gosh, they just tell me, just cancel on me, okay? I can't handle it anymore. Instead of focusing or thinking on that, think of positive outcomes that could occur. Think of just the date. Like, no, regardless of what happens, they go, they don't go. Think and focus on your future perspective and your future of exactly what you want and experience it as if it is right here and right now. Because this fear begins to almost take over us and then take effect. Like, there's a quote, I actually don't know what book, I think this might be from the Bible, but there's a quote that's like, my worst fear has come upon me, right? So like, my worst fear has come upon, I don't know, again, if you know who that's from, it's not even a quote that's from a specific book. Maybe it's just all over, because a lot of us might have said that now in the past, and maybe even the future might say it. But the trick is, our mind creates what we're assuming. So when we are and so yes, again, manifesting, going from being blocked to being engaged, is the comfortability of being in the unknown and having the faith and knowing that what you want is already yours and everything is happening perfectly behind the scenes. Because actually, if you think about it, let's say you're at a restaurant and you order food, are you fearing the whole time that your food's not going to come out? You would say, well, no. And you'd be like, well, why? And it's because you're in this comfortability and faith of knowing that you ordered it, so the restaurant's going to cook it up for you. Why can't that be the same thing when it comes to our specific person, right? You asked you ordered it, they're cooking it up. And just because you're not seeing it happening right in front of you, just because you're not seeing the food being cooked right in front of you, doesn't mean it's not coming out in the best possible way. And so this is what we want to focus on, because then it's our worries and fears in the opposite, and actually the lack of faith or lack of belief that leads us into this fear. And so technically, and this sounds really odd to say, it's almost like a self-sabotage idea. But in those instances when we're in no contact and we are fearing the worst possible outcome, we're actually, again, this is going to sound weird, hoping for it. We're hoping for this negative outcome because of our uncomfortability of being in the unknown. So we need to get comfortable with the middle. We have to get comfortable with ordering from your reality. So ordering your specific person, money, wealth, love, abundance, and being okay and trusting that your reality is bringing it to you in the best possible way. Because if not, our fear is then going to get all of our attention, all of our energy, all of our assumption, and then we're going to see that begin to take effect, and our reality is going to morph into that. And so again, you don't have to worry or fear about negative thoughts, but just know that's the only reason that in this no contact, we feel as if we can't, or that's the reason we feel or fear. We don't have faith in our reality. And that's why we feel we need to physically prove it to our specific person. We need to physically show them, oh my gosh, I changed, because we don't trust in our reality in doing it for us. It's almost like, which is also a funny idea, that deep down, even individuals who are like, oh my gosh, manifestation, I totally believe in that, get into this thought, and it technically, fully believing in law of assumption, this idea doesn't make sense, right? It's almost like, could you believe that a restaurant was going to properly cook your meal while simultaneously mistrusting them every single step of the way? And you'd be like, those are two beliefs that kind of counteract, because whatever you are assuming is what you are going to become. Okay, so if you're assuming, and I think I actually mentioned something like this in my previous video, but then that means if we're assuming or wanting kind of, I don't want to say hoping, but we kind of are because we don't want to be in the unknown. We want this negative thing to come to us. If that's what we're hoping for, how does that make you feel? How does it make you feel to constantly be thinking, if you have your date with your specific person on Friday, to constantly be thinking that they're going to cancel on you, that they dislike you, that they don't want to hang out with you? How does that make you feel? And you would say really bad, right? And then what does that create within a really bad state? And then what happens in a really bad state? We have bad thoughts, bad state, bad actions, right? And then all of our feelings, desires, actions, thoughts, and beliefs are all aligned with the reality we don't even want, right? And then so it's like, that's a reality that we're going to begin creating and believing we're in, when in reality, there is no negativity around you. The fear that you're fearing was never real. It was only an illusion because we created it in that way. So any assumption, high or low, is going to become what we call a self-fulfilling prophecy. So is going to basically manifest. The self-fulfilling prophecy is a way to think about it. If you were kind of in this idea of logic that my specific person needs to see me in my reality as, or from my specific person needs to see the changes that I've done. That's how I want to word it. But they don't, right? Your reality is going to bring it to you in ways that you don't know. It's like Neville Goddard talks about this. Joseph Murphy talks about this. So have the faith. But I want to include again another quote, and this is from A Course in Miracles that I really like. So again, hear the term miracle, change it with the term manifestation. So here's the quote, and it's that miracles represent freedom from fear. So I just want you to think about that quote for a moment. Miracles or manifestations represent freedom from fear. Because think about fear. How does fear feel? And you would say fear is very limiting. Fear is worried about a specific outcome, feeling like we're cut off from a bunch of possibilities, right? We're fearing that that is our reality and that's all of our focus. So the manifestations represent freedom from fear because the manifestation is unlimited. The manifestation of your specific person can be whatever it is that you want. There is no fear. You at your core are unlimited, and manifestation is always unlimited. So it's like we need to have this faith and this trust. And tell me down below in the comments if you have the total faith, the total trust that everything is happening perfectly, because that's how you're going to get that massive success story that I included at the beginning of went from being blocked to being engaged, or the other individual who worked on self-concept and had their specific person text them after 6 months of no contact. Like that, it's funny that I'm going to show you this success story and you're still probably not going to fully believe it, right? You're still going to think as soon as you act today, start acting in the end state, feeling in the end state, you're still going to be like, yeah, but I need to prove it to my specific person. But no, that's the thought that's killing us. That's the thought that's leading to fear, leading to anxiety, and leading to worry. So we need to get that thought out completely. You don't have to prove anything to your reality, to your specific person. When you feel it, everyone feels it. And it's kind of like, and I don't know, I was going to make another video about this, but it's kind of like the butterfly effect. So the butterfly effect is this idea that a butterfly flapping its wings can cause like a domino effect of wind patterns to then cause a hurricane in a different part of the world, right? And you're like, that sounds crazy, right? But it's theoretically like real. Like this is like a real thing. And so you're going to have little butterfly effect moments. And again, I wouldn't even think of it this way, but this is a way to actually cure your like logical thinking that's overthinking it. You're going to have countless butterfly effects that are so seemingly insignificant to you in your conscious awareness, but it's going to lead to massive effects with your specific person. So again, we could dive into the exact path that you feeling good about yourself could be, but maybe you feel good and it goes to someone else, and then they talk about you someplace else and it's overheard by someone, and then this and that happens, right? There's a million ways, because again, the person was blocked, going from blocked to engaged. Blocked, meaning no opportunity, no ability to contact, talk to, blocked, to engaged. And so in that case, what countless millions of butterfly effects was our subconscious working to create and cause that to happen? The same thing is happening to you. It's almost like if something is so, just because something that is happening that you can't fully perceive doesn't mean it's not happening at all, right? Like everything is in this quantum state that as soon as you assume it, feel it, think it, it's going to be showing up in your reality in that way. So have the faith, have the abundance, have the power that no matter what's happening, no matter if you're in no contact, this actually can work for literally any circumstance at all, because working on yourself creates that outcome. And we could even go back to the original example. Us working on this is like us going to practice the piano today, right? You don't have proof that you can become a master pianist, right? But you have the faith and you have the knowing that if you do this, you will. That's, I guarantee you, and I know, again, it's kind of funny, but you will get your SP. There's no way. Everybody always worries like, what if I do all this work and it doesn't happen? No, that's not the case. You could also play the piano forever and just like not learn it, I guess. Like, I feel like that's almost impossible, but you could have that fear or worry too. It's just because we value our specific person so much as to why we end up having these fears. But you're going to go from being blocked, from being no contact, to being engaged and married to your specific person by assuming the state. So follow what the success story people are doing, and you're going to get the same exact results. And you can have fears. Like when you're in no contact, having the fears is okay, but just try to be more comfortable in the unknown and focus your attention on exactly what you want instead. That's how you're going to get the exact outcome that you're desiring and that you're wanting over any other outcome. And it's going to happen so much faster than you could ever imagine, because even there's no amount of time doesn't exist, I guess, is a better way to put it, because time is always relative to the individual. So if you're trying to manifest, it's not about how much time has passed. It's, are you in the state or not? So if right now you just feel totally comfortable with the unknown, you're going to find that your reality brings that positive to you just like that. So that's the power of assuming the state, because it's not, again, an amount of time that passed. It's if you're in the state or not. That's the deciding factor. So let me know if you guys liked this idea. If you're in no contact right now, how positive, awesome you feel, and know that your specific person is going to reach out to me or to you. Because I always Freudian slip like that, because your manifestation is my manifestation. So never, for any time you have worries, anytime you have fears, I'm with you in your manifestation. Just know that. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm with you in your manifestation every single step of the way. I'm manifesting for you right now. But if you know for a fact that you're going to go from whatever circumstance you are, being blocked, being no contact, to being engaged, being married, comment that down below. So thank you guys so much for reaching out today. If you did want to send me a personal question or comment, head over to kyleaugustcoaching.com. Last quick announcement on because giving away like having a group for free that would meet every week. So I'm pretty sure I have all of the 12, 4 to 12 that are going to be joining in the weekly sessions. But just know, if I didn't respond, I wanted to send everyone like a workbook for reaching out. So if you did reach out, you reached out on Instagram, I don't know if I can send a workbook through Instagram, but if you sent me a message through my website, I'll be sending you back a workbook just for reaching out, because I think I'm going to do this way more often because of how many people reached out and how many awesome, amazing stories there were. I'm either going to maybe even add another group next week, start a different group next week, or definitely next month do another group exactly like what we're doing. So keep an eye out. Don't feel like if you didn't receive a message from me or didn't receive the response back that I'm totally leaving you at a loss. No, I would never leave you. So I'm going to be doing much, much more of that just because of how fun and how it's so fun and exciting to see all your individual stories, like more all at once. And so I want to do more and more sessions, groups for free like this. I think it's so much fun. But also remember, no matter what, if you are wanting to dive in right now and then continue and join like next week's free session or next month's free session, hop into down below, become a member. On Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be going live on YouTube, basically talking about the same stuff that I would in the personal session. And you can comment all of your questions, ideas, stuff like that in there. That'll be Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time for all of my members. So it's weird. You have to click the link below, become a member in order to add in on that. So if you did want to join in on that, I would absolutely love to have you there and help you and hear your specific story live on Sunday. If you don't or can't, that's okay. I'm still going to be doing free session giveaways, things like that. So always keep that in mind. But I'll see everyone on Sunday, or I will see you tomorrow for my next video. But I'm really excited to see you all on Sunday, just to see all of your comments, questions, stuff like that. I used to do lives, but I think this is much more personable with all the members. So get all your questions ready. Ask anything you want about your current situation. It's like a quick little coaching session together in a group coaching. I think it's going to be so much fun. I've done stuff like this, and it is absolutely a blast. If you have any worries, fears, doubts, you can always reach out to me on my website at kyleaugustcoaching.com. Keep me updated on all the awesome successes you're having. Make sure to leave a thumbs up on this video if you really enjoyed it. And then I'll see you in the next session tomorrow. And then again, put it in your calendar, Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then if you're a member, even if you can't make the live, it'll always be available forever. So you'll be able to watch it forever. And also, right now, members on there, I have a video for members that is manifest a text from your ex. So if you ever wanted to check out that workshop, literally signing up, you get instant access to that in the workbook. I'm just throwing it out there, but I don't feel obligated to do it. I'm going to be throwing out a bunch of content just like the one I am right here and right now. And I'll probably be talking in videos about stuff that happens in the live or in the free coaching session. So always keep an eye out for that. But thank you guys so much for stopping by today. I know I just rambled at the end, but I'll see you in the next video tomorrow.